My Adventures with Superman. We have a brand new Superman animated series that's airing on Adult Swim and also coming to Max. It used to be HBO Max, but now it's just Max. I'm still trying to get caught up to all the streaming service lingo and all that stuff. We haven't had a Superman cartoon since 1996, but last night we got 2 brand new episodes of Superman on television in an animated form, and we're going to talk about it here today. I love Superman. I have always loved Superman. I'm actually one of the people that like Superman a bit more than Batman. I don't know. Sue me. That's just how I've always been. I've loved this character. I love what he stands for and all of that kind of stuff. And growing up on Superman, the animated series really helped to influence my love for this character. And it's been a shame that we haven't seen him in an animated format in his own standalone series for so long. But I'm glad to report we finally have it. Now, does it hold up to that original series? Does it stand on its own in a very plausible way? I don't know. That's for you to decide. I'm not going to talk about all of this as in-depth as I normally would. I just wanted to sit here and have a casual conversation about the Man of Steel. I think right now we are heading into a revival of the Superman character. We're seeing that he's getting a movie in the DCU, directed and written by James Gunn, Superman Legacy. Casting looks great. And now we have this animated series to go alongside it as like a companion piece. Again, I watched the first 2 episodes last night and it's different and it keeps some of those familiar traits. It doesn't stray too far away to it being kind of a detriment to the character. Say what you will about Man of Steel, the Zack Snyder, Superman, DC entire universe actually, but I enjoyed elements of that. But at its core, Man of Steel to me is a really cool, really fun, really dope action movie. But when it comes to a Superman tale, I don't feel like it's very strong in that department. I feel like that's where it kind of fails for me. I still watch Man of Steel, I still enjoy it for what it is, but as a pure Superman story, I don't think it stands up to that level. How does that apply here? My Adventures with Superman is going out of its way to kind of mix up the Superman mythos, introduce it to us under a new light, look at it through a different lens. Does it land by paying respect to the character in a better way than Man of Steel did? In my opinion, yes. I feel like Clark is way more faithful to who we know him as. Kal-El, he has that lighthearted spirit when he's in Clark Kent mode. In fact, we don't even see him go in Superman mode until I want to say like the back half of episode 2. At least not fully suited up. He does have an action sequence at the end of episode 1, but he's wearing a hoodie and everything. But yeah, his heroics are very Superman-esque, helping people as opposed to just fighting the bad guy and fleeing the scene. So we got a lot of traits of classic Superman. The differences come in with how some of these story elements are presented or the order in which those things are presented. I don't want to go too in depth on who all appears, who all is alive in this universe for maybe a little bit longer than we're used to. I'm not going to go too in depth as to all of these things. I want you to watch that for yourself. But I do want to talk about a certain aspect about this show. I feel like we need to support this one. Okay. I know a lot of people are having some discourse about it. It's not my Superman. Well, it is your Adventures with Superman. Anyway, I think we need to support this. If you are a fan of animation, if you miss action cartoons made here, especially based on our favorite characters, just give it a watch. If you don't like it, tap out later, but at least give it a chance. I feel like My Adventures with Superman is going to do for Superman fans what Rise of the TMNT did for Ninja Turtles fans, push some of you traditional fans away, or what Rise did, I feel, did for a lot of people, bring in new fans that might not have been interested in prior iterations or the previous animated series just didn't cater to them or convince them that this was a brand worth investing in. I feel like it's just enough of a twist for existing fans if they want to stay locked into the story. It's going to be fresh and new for you to kind of stay guessing. You know, it's not going to feed you the same Superman things that you've seen a million times in terms of story, but still those elements that make Superman at its core Superman are going to keep you for your love of the character. However, it'll be giving you a new interpretation of that, just like what Rise did. And again, for all the people that are like naysaying Superman, Boy Scout, he's boring, whatever, I'd never agreed with those statements anyway, but it feels like they're trying to remedy that with this show while not spitting in the face of what Superman stands for, and I respect it for that. There are a few weird things in the show though that I have to talk about. It's not like a huge gripe or anything, but it's just something that really stood out to me. This Superman is weak. Yes, I know there's an argument to be made that, oh, you know, it's his early days, he's still getting accustomed to his powers, his abilities, what he's able to do, what he's capable of. I get all that, but there is no world where he should take a punch from a common robot and get a black eye and struggle to get up. My man was getting bodied. Okay, Clark was getting absolutely washed. And I get it. Like you said, it's his first time out of the field, really honing in on his powers and all of this stuff. In fact, he like unlocks this Super Saiyan ability, which we'll get into later. But as he's doing all of this fighting, he should be able to have the durability to take these punches. I get that. And if he wants to be weakened a bit, I get it. Tension in the story, nothing wrong with that. I totally get it. But I just couldn't help but laugh at the black eye. I'm sorry. I thought it was just like shading at first. I thought it was just how they shaded the eye, because it kind of comes and goes throughout the scene, if I'm remembering correctly. Maybe it was an animation error, but no. His eye was swollen shut, and it was fully a black eye. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the comments, if you saw the episode, if you could explain that to me. Maybe this version of Superman is supposed to be depicted as being just a weaker version, but that black eye was taking me out, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, as I was saying, he's fighting a bunch of robots, which kind of moves me into the talking point of the action sequences. This has a very stylistic art and animation style that I feel really plays into making this stand out as a very different Superman, a very different DC project as a whole. The action sequences are very fluid. I feel like we're going to see some more as we move forward, because, you know, some of it looks pretty good. Some of it looks like, oh yeah, budget, especially on the black eye sequence. Okay, I'm gonna get off of the Superman having a black eye thing. I'll get over it. But no, I think the animation was overall pretty good, pretty cute in some areas, you know, like when Lois and Clark had their little moments. As I'm sure you're seeing the blurred footage in the background, whenever they looked at each other, they would blush dang near every single sequence. I think they uploaded the entire first episode on the Adult Swim YouTube channel. The thumbnail is literally Clark blushing at the screen. So it's very much playing on those anime tropes, because it has more of an anime-esque art style and animation style to it. Again, kind of reminiscent of some of the animation techniques that you saw present in Rise of the TMNT, kind of paying respects to the medium of animation as it's done in anime, and that really worked for Rise. I know this is like a weird comparison, but I talk about TMNT a lot on this channel. That's why I keep talking about Rise of the TMNT. It looks more so like something like Voltron, the Netflix series, Legendary Defender. I've also seen some comparisons to Invincible on Amazon. I guess if you were to ask me, how does this show stand up against the likes of Invincible and Rise of the TMNT? Well, granted, we're only like 2 episodes in thus far, at least on Adult Swim. That's how I'm watching the show. I don't know if people that have Max have access to the entire season, but based off of these first 2 episodes, I feel like the show has some growing to do. It has to find its footing. It has to find its pacing. That's one thing I've noticed. Lois and Clark's development in terms of their relationship feels very rushed. I mean, I get that they're an item, but that seems very rushed so far, but not to like an annoying degree. This power that you're seeing on screen, by the way, this is the Super Saiyan power I was talking about, them getting the Speed Force and turning into Barry Allen. I need that explained to me. I think that's like another element in terms of Superman being altered to make him more cool, or I don't know, different or intriguing. Maybe this is the equivalent to giving the Ninja Turtles mystical powers in Rise of the TMNT, adding a new element to the lore, something new to latch onto in terms of power and ability. I don't know. It's all speculation. I think my adventures with Superman, though, overall, no, let me not wrap this up. I'm sorry, this video is all over the place. I just wanted to talk about the show. Please bear with me. I'm just excited we have a new Superman animated series at the end of the day, and I'm really rooting for it to get better. The first 2 episodes were really solid, but I do feel the room for improvement. I have no doubt that they're going to fill in that room with improvement. I love Jimmy Olsen, very funny character. Lois Layne, so quirky, adorable, absolutely cute. Loved Clark, he was awesome. I love our trio, I really do. The show is very much focused on the 3 of them as opposed to just Superman, although we do have more focus on Superman than the other 2. We do have more of a spotlight on the other 2 than we did in previous iterations, I feel. At the opening of each episode, we get like a younger Clark origin story recap with like Jor-El and the Kryptonians and all that stuff. We got quite a bit of that in the second episode, but again, I don't want to talk too much about it because I want to leave you room to go and discover that for yourself. That's pretty much all to cover. There wasn't a lot in here in terms of just general thoughts. That's all that I had to cover. And yeah, I just wanted to encourage you to watch this. Support animation. Let's get more DC animated series back in circulation. I really miss this. It's crazy. We have a Superman animated series airing on TV in 2023 and a Superman movie coming out. Superman is back. Go watch My Adventures with Superman. If you watched it, let me know what you think of it down in the comments below. If you haven't seen it, let me know if you plan on watching it in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave it a like, share it around with anyone you think may be interested, and hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. I've been Geekily. You've been awesome, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Up, and away. Is that what I would do for Superman? I've never made a Superman video yet, but I've been wanting to, so I guess that's how I'll end it. I'll land on something. Later, guys.